let's see if this thing really it really works here. I'm always trying to um, deal with and operate with uh, and it's challenging um, when we deal with social comparisons of having of tools, technological tools of and that is inadequate. Yes, but yeah, I've learned to use the to convert the two mechanical tools or technological tools of inadequacy that is inadequate in this comparison to others, to convert it into something that is adequate. Yes, if it makes sense. Because I realize that adequate cooperation leads to proper communication, and that's how you effectively coordinate your power. And utilizing it or leveraging it, doing my best not to speak, presumptuously, because when there is understanding, when there is balance, understanding speaks clearly, and have to know, be aware of one's limits, Yes, and there's no knowing when to draw the line. That's wisdom in that. Yes, and doing my best to try to conduct my affairs with good character and knowledge and experience, And any assistance that I seek is through patience, and try to do my best to pray, and and accept that, and to be humble about it, It's challenges with many outside influences, Yes. So I just maybe want to deal with the word, potential, or potential beyond potential. How do we um, go too far in the expansion of one's potential? It's a question, and I realize that purpose here is to reach one's full potential. You know, yes. You got the potential and the capability, but yet there must be some dependability and some reliability as well as some credibility. Yes. So I like to say this is a conciliatory healing moment to overcome animosity and distrust that leads to anxiety attacks. Yes. So a day of reconciliation. Yes, I remember I heard a brother by the name of I think King Hopefelder. He did a presentation amongst a group of people, and he gave the message of reconciliation. I thought it was very, very powerful, and I've met the brother and talked with him on the phone several times, and real good brother. He even tried to help me to get into a an institution, of what they called what is called higher learning, whatever that entails. Yeah, become a friend again to yourself as well as a friend to others. Operation pitching. Be more careful. Be more caring. Pay it forward through random acts of kindness, generosity, goodwill, warmth, neighbor, neighborly. Be more helpful. Show a little love. More thoughtful. And be more affectionate. Operation pitching. Pitching. Is a day of reconciliation through acts of kindness. Yes, the inspiration came to me, or came by way of many forms, due to the teachings of generosity and sensitivity. When inspiration comes down, aspiration goes up, and then that sensitivity connects. It's nothing like, you know, you're being sensitive, sure. It's a human emotion, yes. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that has been given to us as humans, at least I say, is our emotions, yes. But they're not to be, played with or played on. And it's going to come back when your emotions is preyed on. Why? You know, it's like an animal. And but this their reconciliation is was associated by a brother by the name of James Jackson and his son. Just want to carry on his legacy, who had left prematurely, yes. And what culminated it was when I was walking one day down the street. It was a cold winter day, and an elder lady was shoveling, or a lady was shoveling the snow, and I asked her did she need some assistance, and she did, and I wind up giving her a helpful hand, and she offered me some monetary assistance. I said I just help, wherever I can. So their reconciliation, through or about self, family, friends, community, nation, as we protect and defend our integrity. And the weapon that we use is dignity, but we do it the benevolent way. Be benevolent. Show some mercy, be kind, be generous. One self valuing of self worth is enlightening. When you value yourself, that's enlightening. Worth is in degree, but it's not in the value. Yes, there's degrees of worth. You know, but it's not in the value, because your value is unlimited. Yes, and that's why we are created as with nobility and dignity. Yes, and that's enlightening. Friends helping friends. Is empowering. You know, it's nothing like having a genuine and true friend. Whatever it is that you're going through, they're still your friends. And you can confide and you can trust in them. You know, a term is not to be used loosely nor lightly. Families housing families, that's enriching. Family should house family members. That's how you become enriched. you know, and that's a culture. Culture is enriching. You know, even though we know culture comes associated with the word agriculture. We know Chinka Diop said uh, that people used to look up to the sky, and the rain falls from the sky and it hits the ground and produce a crop. And they said it must be a God somewhere. So said that the term God is Algerian in thought. Algerian culture. But When I said families, housing families, it's enriching. The Kaaba, the house. Yes, very enriching, very enriching, and yes, and maybe y'all continue to be on the square, on the level. Yes, and organizations. Before there's organization, you must first have cooperation. Organization helping communities. That's encouraging. We need to be encouraged to encourage and uplift each other. Yes, and nations healing nations is inspiring. And I try to live my life as an aspirant. And live my life as an aspirant to become an inspiration to myself as well as a inspiration to others. Yes. So this day of reconciliation, I know that there are many religious institutions that go about having a day of reconciliation, and some, of course, they get it from many probably get it from in the English Bible. The ministry of reconciliation is a service that one provide as that we must learn to uh, coexist with one another. Yes, that's how I always say. I try to come in the spirit of cooperation and try to being led by coordination and speak from the authority of resiliency. So this reconciling oneself to become a friend again, as if it is saying that we are not friendly, um, and a person that is a friendly person is a very generous purpose and a very kind-hearted purpose. But there's a saying that not to take one's kindness for weakness. So it's a means of taking advantage of one's kindness, and because you may have the authority does not mean it really gives you a license to take advantage of people. You know, and I see this in the affection of this and the influence of this in the society in which we live. As you interact with people, it's like we make a mockery of each other, as well as making a mockery of time. And this it starts off, you know, uh, when it start off when the many are raised or young, and because the key to social life is family. Yes, it's family, and but you see the influence of being raised, or how people are just taking this, even um, the freedoms that even that is expressed and demonstrated here in this country or continent of America. It can be taken advantage of, in the and not in the best way, and and even though you the creation of this universe uh, it gives us the freedom to interact with one another, to travel, you know, and and in that traveling is not to uh, take advantage of each other, but it is to learn how to uh, coexist and serve as an asset and as a benefactor, Yes, because we talk about the benevolent way, to be a benefactor, um, to each other. Yes, and because the um, a creation has been served as a benefactor to us. Yes, you look at the beauty of these the mountain, and you look at the sea. You look at this earth, this nature itself. And I'm not, denying the natural catastrophes that takes place. Yes, that is a renewing, and I'm not one to. I don't want to speak presumptuously about that. People who experience natural uh, catastrophes, I know that nature does renew itself, and yes, it does renew itself. It does. Yes, and it's like death itself. It is just transforming. It's a renewing. It's a renewing. Yes, and we have to become grounded, in reality. Yes, and I liken reality unto three ways. I liken it unto communication, deal with the cause and effects. In the middle is understanding, and what we need to understand is our humanity. Yes, yes, our humanity is that which we need to understand. So, and be careful what you put out. You may not like how it returns. Yes, yes. So, but yeah, I just realize more and more and more that as you look at the at least the society, uh, and I don't want to necessarily use the lens that has been given to me from the outside, but I see, and I just see that we must always not only renew our mind, but we must reconcile our differences. As it pertains to self-value and self-worth, which is enlightening friends, helping friends, which is empowering families, housing families, which is enriching organizations, helping communities, which is encouraging, and nations, healing nations, which is inspiring. So we need to renew these vows, and reconciling our differences, for the sake of coexisting, and come in a spirit of cooperation. Yes, and and realize that anything that we go about doing and trying to be about, um, when it comes to and associating with excellence. Uh, I think it was someone by the name of David Starr Jordan. He was dealing with the inside out, because true change comes from inside, then it works its way out. See, there is no real excellence in all the world which can be separated from right living. Yes. So we have to deal with right living. We have to deal with the advantages and disadvantages. Uh, we have to realize that we be mindful that there is not a continuation of a universal enslavement of a people, either just through education, politics, or religion. Yes, and in short, we should not be forced to come to a point where is that we succumb to our to our own vices. Yes, yes. The vices of man's inhumanity to mankind, or man humanity to man, and the vices that could be associated with racism, sexism, classism, genderism, fascism, to the isms, to the isms, to the isms. Yes, and there is no no schisms in the body. When it comes to you know envy, and jealousy, and creating a hate psychosis, and in this society, when it comes to associated with social comparison, you know how we compare, what one has, what you have, and compared to what you another has what another has acquired, and what you have not acquired, in this social comparison. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and may we continue to pledge and 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 be at our best behavior, because I know there is no me without my mother and my father, and there is no uh, individual without community, and there is no community without, or nation without community, or either or. It is a pledge to coexist with one another, and this whole universe teaches us to coexist, with each other. And but I say this in closing, is that I'm led to go to the book of liberty. And what do I mean by the book of liberty? The book of liberty is this: it is, it is you. The book of freedom is you. And I'm not talking about just no theory, the theory of justice, the theory of freedom, the theory of equality. Because when we came here, we were released from by way of a sperm, and then brother Dr. Aline Bay talk about this stream, and say they wasn't fighting against each other; they were just working to, because that once that one reached, he had like a halo over his head, that sperm, he was the enlightened one. Yes, and that's why I said that when you talk about this day of reconciliation, to about self, family, friends, community, nation, as we defend our integrity and dignity, the benevolent wills, the self-valuing of self-worth is enlightening. That was the enlightened one. And spend certain time in this mother's stomach, and as that sperm evolved and made it out. And I'm not overlooking the ones who didn't make it out. Yes, and put forth an effort. They put forth an effort, and seems as though that you look at society in which we live, that those who are trying to escape economic poverty and social degradation or what have you, are trying to make it out of the influence of the society that puts them at odds with each other and with themselves. Self-hatred, animosity, yes, poverty, obscurity, trying to make it out, yes, and being universally enslaved, even in their thinking, trying to make it out. Some don't, some don't, some don't, some don't. Yes. So yeah, then you come through that womb, that's mercy. That's mercy. You make it through, then you evolve, the law of gradual process or progress, progress. It's a process, I guess, a process and progress. Gradually grow, to the evolution, and maybe we become fully mature when we overcome hatred, and animosity, and envy, and jealousy. And we can go beyond race, class, gender, and religion, become fully human. I was looking at a something that I like, the Outer Limits. It was talking about how this being, and he took form into a time capsule as he took form. His whole facial, his head got bigger. And when people saw some of the people saw that, and they said, "Well, that's the problem with humans when they see something different than themselves. They in fear. They don't like it. They try to destroy it." And he didn't necessarily like that, but he understood it, and then he was hurting people, and then all of a sudden he stopped hurting people, because he came to his humanity, he came to himself, he came to his maturity, whereas that he said when we truly evolve, we won't cause this hurt, this harm, or this danger, um, to ourselves as well as to others, and it was three things that he said, but I can't recall the three things that he expressed in that and I call it the maturation process. Become real mature. The maturation process consists of understanding, and the second one, tolerance, temperance, and confidence and respect. And so yes, and this reconciliation, this conciliatory healing, potential beyond potential, and uh, and may we continue to not to make mockery of time, and mockery of each other, and may we do our best to try to create an environment where there is peace and harmony. And remember, I've learned, if anything that is lost is that when we take each other's good intentions for granted. Day of reconciliation, potential beyond potential.